morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am really excited because I will be hosting our Tuesday Twitch stream this week and actually bringing on Alex, Akshata, and Arul as three very special guests who are here to talk about a new contribution they made to the MuleSoft community. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm just going to go around how I view everyone's faces just as I ask the questions. But just to get started, would each of you mind introducing yourselves and talking a little bit about your role in the MuleSoft community? And Alex, we'll start with you.
Sure. Well, I do these streams all the time, so maybe people already know me. I'm a developer advocate here at MuleSoft, and I wrote the book along with Akshara and Arul, basically.
Nice.
Awesome. And then over to you, Akshata.
Yeah. Hi. I also work along with Alex as a developer advocate, and yeah, we all wrote a book, and we also see you guys on Twitch streams every Thursday, and yeah, that's all.
And over to you, Arul.
Yeah. So I work in Cognizant as an integration architect, and mainly people from the community know me from the Tech Lightning channel, where I used to post a lot of MuleSoft related knowledge sharing video. So I have written some blogs as well, and so the book is new to me, and we all together from community, right? So we wrote a book now.
Yes, and you're also a MuleSoft mentor.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, since the topic that we are here to talk about is the book, my first question is, what motivated you all to write this book?
I think, well, I had already talked with the publisher like years back, but I didn't get any co-authors, so I didn't want to do it alone. And then I kind of just forgot about it. And then Akshara came back to me this year or last year, again with the same project, and I'm like, nah, I'm over it now. I don't want to do it anymore. But then she said that Arul was already involved, and she was already involved. And I'm like, well, are you sure though? I just like, I don't want to do it alone. And then she just kept asking me to do it. And I'm like, okay, we can do it.
Just kept bugging her until she didn't agree, and she finally did. Yeah. But we always want, I mean, I never thought of writing a book or something like that, but yeah, this is like, yeah, I found it cool now.
Nice.
Yeah. For me also, right? So even though I wrote blog long back, but I'm more interested in sharing the MuleSoft knowledge through videos. So I was not kind of comfortable with the writing a book. But again, so Akshata was there, and also Alex was there, and as a co-author, right? And when the publishing team was giving a project brief, we have a lot of gap between Salesforce and MuleSoft developers. So we have this kind of a topic we need to write. So then the topic also, right, it was more interesting. And then I already know Alex and Akshata from the community, right? So it's like even though we have not meet each other, so it's more of it's a close team. It's like, same team working together. So we agreed, and then we started writing on the book.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And so I know that there is a mix of writers and editors. What was kind of the overall structure of how you got MuleSoft community members involved?
Wow. We can say that it's a small world. Actually, I mean, on a book itself, we have our reviewers from the community like Gaurav Ketarpal and Rajesh, who are MuleSoft ambassadors, Salesforce MVP, who have been the technical reviewers for our book. So, and yeah, we have Arul, who's community like mentor. So that's how like we have everyone from the community. Hi, yourself.
Awesome. And then would you mind, so we keep saying the book, but people might not know actually like, what is the book? What is it? What is its title? What is it about? So could you all just give some sneak peeks into what readers will learn from your book? And maybe we can just also give an overview of what is the book?
Yeah. It's right there. You can see in Alex's frame. And yeah, it's about MuleSoft for Salesforce developers. Basically, I mean, it's not just for, you can say it's not just for like Salesforce developers, but for everyone who wants to learn MuleSoft to get started with it. Yeah, and it covers everything from basics till the MCD preparation, interview tips and tricks about our community as well. You would like to add anything else, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead, Errol.
yeah. So it's mainly right. It's kind of written by developers for developers. So it's mainly because we all came from the development background, and we wanted to write with a proper outline. So we wanted to give back something to the community. So we were working together in, I think, last December, how to give a logical flow for this book, right? So we wanted to write some outline, and how this book will be more interesting for both the community. So it's a MuleSoft community and also the Salesforce community. How this book will bridge the gap, right? And how it will help each other. So that's where we have put up the topic. What are the topic we need to cover? Because if it is a MuleSoft developer, then they already know some of the topics in MuleSoft and how this book will help further for their career, right? And similarly, they already Salesforce developer perspective, they already know Salesforce, and every company now they also have a Salesforce and MuleSoft together. So when they wanted to do a integration, right, or when they wanted to expose their object, the Salesforce object via API, then how the Salesforce developer can contribute to the integration, right? So we wanted to give a mixed of flavor to this book. So that's how we discussed together, and we covered most of the topic, and then we gave some logical flow to give a guide, the developer guide for the both the community.
Nice.
I have to give all of the credit on the outline to Arul and Akshara because they did most of it. And I was like, yeah, this sounds actually pretty good. And I liked that they wanted to, there's a chapter on testing, and they didn't only do like MUnit with MuleSoft, they also did like Postman or JMeter or other tools that you can use to test, which I think is awesome. They did most of the thing, to be honest. I just did data weave and
No,
like
nothing
the
that much.
theoretical stuff. um, but yeah, I mean, even I, I was a bit disappointed on the data weave ones though, because there are two chapters and they are like 100 pages, but they're still very
That's
basic things, like just to get you started with data weave. And yes, I talk about reduce and map and stuff, but they're just like the very basic things. So it will give you like a very, very good base to get started on learning data weave, but it won't take you like to I don't know, Mariano's like type of level. But yeah, everything that Arul and Akshara did on all of the other chapters, they're awesome. Um, I was kind of reviewing their chapters when we were writing them, but now that I see them on the book, it's like, oh, this makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I actually use her chapters, database chapters, for reference as well. I mean, they cover all the basic depth, in-depth details and everything. Like she has gone through all that. I mean, she has covered everything, I guess, about database. Although she's
Yeah.
saying she has not, because there are like two entire chapters only focusing on database part, and they are like, wow.
Yeah, and also, right, just to talk about this data web chapter, right? So when as a community member or from the community, right? So when we talk about MuleSoft, so there will be a lot of materials related to the API manager, the proxy, or
Mhm.
different kind of things. But when you look at the data web, right, the knowledge will be limited because because there are a lot of things to practice. But
Yeah.
when we wanted to have one chapter, and Alex started writing it, but she couldn't control it. So that is why, right, she again wrote one more chapter in the book, and then we extended some pages there,
Yeah.
and she covered almost everything, and to give a complete picture of it.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be one chapter for, I mean, for DataWeave, but then she couldn't control her feelings for DataWeave.
I really tried. I really, really tried, and I still feel it wasn't enough.
I love that. And so, since this book is really dedicated, like MuleSoft for Salesforce developers, kind of my general question is like, why and how do MuleSoft and Salesforce work together?
Okay. Yeah. They both.
That's for Akshara. You wrote that chapter.
Yeah, I wrote that chapter. That's true. I mean, there are so many components, they are interlinked with all this new products and all coming in, MuleSoft Composer, RPA, or, I mean, there are so many accelerators as well, which, with the help of which we make the integrations easy, seamless with Salesforce. So that's the reason. I mean, Salesforce developers, it's high time. Like, we need to be knowing about both the technologies, and it's going to be one Salesforce now. So, yeah, we should move in that direction. And yeah, that's
Yeah,
where
and
we
that
should.
Oh, sorry. And that leads actually perfectly into my next question, which is like, in each of your opinions, why should Salesforce developers learn MuleSoft? And also, is this the same true of MuleSoft developers? Should our community also start to introduce Salesforce into their, skill set as well?
Okay, so here, right, so most of the company, so whoever has Salesforce, they also have MuleSoft for their integration. So for example, as a MuleSoft developer, right, even I have created my account in Salesforce, and I created the user logging for the MuleSoft API. I used to generate a token, and even, right, to play around, I go and create an object, and I expose that object, and I use some workflow bench to see what kind of is the Salesforce query the Salesforce developer right. So those kind of things we will normally explore. So basically, even though I am the MuleSoft developer or architect, I put my hands to Salesforce in order to understand Salesforce and expose that as a API. So the same thing, right? From my perspective, I also need to know a little bit of Salesforce, because we expose a lot of objects in an organization as a service. Similarly, if any Salesforce developer, right, once they set up the required object for CRM or any kind of cloud, so once that job is done, right, their job is to expose whatever possible as a API to the external system. For example, their website wants to consume some contact object or some customer object. It could be a website or it could be a mobile app or anything. So they need to know the background of how we can expose that as a API. So not only limited to MuleSoft Composer, where they can do smaller stuff, but they also need to learn the MuleSoft so that they can expose in a bigger way. So whatever easily they can expose as a API-led connectivity, right? So it will help them actually for their career as well. So that's where we need to understand both these technology. That's where some of the chapter written by Akshata to cover how MuleSoft will talk to Salesforce to expose the data, and also she talked about from the Salesforce perspective also how the MuleSoft Composer will help to expose some data from the Salesforce perspective as well. And
Yeah.
also, right, very good thing happened. This book, right, even we wrote from the MuleSoft community for the Salesforce developer. This book is actually reviewed by Gaurav Ketrapal. He is the Salesforce and also the MuleSoft expert. So he's the one reviewed, and he gave a lot of guidance to us how it will help both the community.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you agree, Akshata and Alex?
Yes, completely. He has covered everything for us.
Okay, and so you have talked about some of the chapters that each of you have actually written and reviewed, but regardless of which chapter you wrote, what is your personal favorite chapter in the book?
Okay.
Data weave.
Not because
That,
you wrote it or because you wrote it?
No, I just love data weave.
so mine, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a difficult question actually, but yeah, I think mine would be like the chapter 9, the deployment, deploying your application. Yeah, because I had actually created those tables and everything from scratch, this diagram. I mean, that took quite long. And yeah, when it was like complete, I was like, wow, this looks good now. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, the first chapter, which wrote by Akshata, sorry, Alex, written the first chapter. So that will have more theory, and also it will give some kind of a overview about the complete MuleSoft, and how the less code technology, how it will help everybody to do the integration, right? So I like that chapter most. Yeah, the first one, which is written by Alex. Yeah.
I love that. So now that the book's done, what's next? Do you have a second book that you're planning? Are you going to turn this book into meetups or blogs or videos? What's next? Or are you done?
I guess a little break or something like that, but definitely becoming something new for the community. But yeah, we are not sure about the second book. at least for not some time.
No, when I was
So,
writing the data whip chapters, I'm like, it would be nice to have a book. But now that I'm done, I'm like, is it worth it though? I can just write blog posts about it.
yeah.
Yeah, so because we think like it's a kind of a 500 pages and three authors, and they might have taken some time to written the book, right? But actually for us also, for me especially, it was kind of difficult because we have to work in the office hours, and then this one mostly we spend in the at
Late.
the end of late night and also weekends, and
Can,
it was going for a lot of repeated reviews and from the technical side and also editorial side, so it was taking a lot of time from us, because whatever we learned, right, and we wanted to give back to the community, but again it was kind of occupying almost 8 months actually, because we have started the outline in last December, but the book is launched now in the October, right? It was took 8 to 10 months overall. So we have we need some break, so maybe
yeah.
we can think about later for the edition 2 and all. Yeah, but there are a lot of things to write, because there are a lot of things we can cover in advanced, but yeah, we need some break now. Yeah.
I love that. So, the last question I actually have for you all, and this is just kind of more general since you all do so much in the MuleSoft community, but what is your advice for anyone watching who might be afraid to start their MuleSoft journey?
Okay. The first thing would be like you don't have to be afraid because we have a big MuleSoft community who's always there to help you out. So you can just seek help from anyone and just reach out because there are MuleSoft ambassadors, mentors, meetup leaders, amazing MuleSoft community members, managers as well. Yeah, so just reach out to anyone for help, and we have resources available as well in terms of like MuleSoft documentation and then videos, Twitch streams. Now we have the book as well, like whichever way you find comfortable, just stick to the way. We have free trainings available as well. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, so because I also was there in this MuleSoft for a longer time, and I also learned initially as a beginner, right? So when we learn, it's not like the programming language, right? It's more of a drag and drop where we just connect with the different system and we talk, and we exchange the data or we expose the data as a API, right? So it's a less coding. So from if anybody afraid of coding, then this particular tool, right, which will give a flexibility to write the end-to-end thing. The other thing what we learn mainly, right, because if you work in one technology, so maybe you will touch upon website or you will touch upon some backend application, right? But when you work in MuleSoft, you will try to talk to any other application. If your organization has 100 application, then you will talk to all application in a different format. For example, it's not boring thing, right? So first example, if I connect first, I'll connect to some database. The next time, right, when I work, I will connect to some API. Next time I'll connect to Slack. Next time I'll connect to Salesforce. Every time whenever you work, right, you will work new things, and it will be more interesting and more easy to learn. And also, as Akshata mentioned, right, if anything, if you have a doubt, if you just search in Google about the doubt, right, there's an answer for it. Yeah, so there are a lot of community help from different people, right? And so immediately we can reach out some people at the community, and then we can get the answer, because there are a lot of LinkedIn community for the MuleSoft developers and other social media pages, right? And it really helps for everybody in the MuleSoft community.
Yeah, I remember when I started learning, it was still Mule 3, and it was so hard because I remember that there were not meetups yet. And it was so hard to get just questions and answers. I don't remember if there were forums already, probably not. But it was just like, yeah, go to your coworker who sits next to you and ask them if they know. And if they don't know, then you just kind of have to figure it out somehow. But like you just had to like search for people in your company that knew MuleSoft to see like whoever knew the answer to that. And it was so hard. But now you can Google a lot of stuff and it's already there, or you can just post it in the forums and people will answer you almost immediately. I was skeptical for that at first, and then I asked a question and they answered in less than an hour, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like people are actually answering.
Yes.
So yeah, there are always different options that you can do. Also, like Errol said, like in LinkedIn or in Facebook or in groups that you can ask. So yeah.
Yeah.
And also, right, just to tell about this community, right, and it's more helpful actually. So even there are a lot of people ping me and I ping somebody, right? And so they are really helpful actually, because they got and learned something from community, so they wanted to give back. So the community, the health, right, and the professional thing which they show across the community members, it's good actually. So that's where, right, so the people who are working in MuleSoft, and they easily get the help to solve the problem.
Love that. Well, before we go, would you all mind sharing where individuals can find your book? And if you wouldn't mind posting the link in the chat so that we can share it with everyone.
Sure. You can find them on Amazon and Pack Publications website as ebook and hard copy. We'll just share the link. Arul, do you have links, Sandy or Alex? There's also some. Yeah. Just.
There is.
Perfect. Well, thank you all so much. We're really excited for individuals to start reading this book and also sharing their own use cases or what it inspires them. So if you have read the book or plan on reading it, please share in the MuleSoft community any blogs or use cases or impact that it had. We can't wait to see it. And thank you all for your contributions and continued work in the MuleSoft community.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.